for this particular show, basically we just run around the shop showing you builds that we're currently doing or yung mga pinapadiagnose and things like that, cable management. But before we get to the good stuff, let's get the ad out of the way. When I can find the ad. Here we go.
Sawa ka na ba sa unactivated Windows mo? Well, lucky you! Pinakabago mula sa cdkeyoffer.com. Windows 10 and Windows 11 activation codes. Legit, safe, at pinakamura. Madali lang umorder. Hanapin ang Windows version na gusto mo. Piliin ang preferred payment method. Wala pang 5 minutes, nagsisigi ka na para sa Windows mo. Marami na kaming natulungan.
Dati, sad and depressed ako. But now, I found the love of my life.
Dati, aimless and walang purpose ang life ko. But now, I'm a world-class Zumba instructor.
So, web developer ako and content creator for a YouTube channel. And ngayon, ganun pa rin ako pero activated na yung Windows ko.
Kaya kung naghahanap ka ng legit, mura, at original software,
Check out cdkeyoffer.com.
Check out cdkeyoffer.com.
Check out cdkeyoffer.com. Yun. So, hello again. Thank you for joining me for another live from the shop. Magsi 6 o'clock this Saturday or today. The pandemic's basically over, so a lot of people are probably getting ready for dinner or about to go out to a movie. And for me, this is the perfect time to be at the shop, yung walang tao. Occasionally, I do live from the shop when there are customers, but I always feel a little weird na I'm doing a monologue to the camera and there are other people in the shop. So I try to do this show pag walang pasok, so it's a holiday or after shop hours. And sup, Jerome from Facebook? Let me just check. So we are doing something different today. So for the very first time ever for a live stream, I'm using my Asus laptop. So if you've been following our videos, last month I published a review video on this guy. So this is my S14 Flip OLED VivoBook from Asus. Not sponsored. They didn't even know I bought a laptop from them. But I desperately needed a laptop kasi parang mas madalas na ako out of the office, meaning usually my home office. I have to bring my kid to school and then I have to come to the shop and things like that. Pero para mas productive pa rin ako because the school is far away from where I live. So I basically drop her off and just wait for her there. Pero para mas productive ako, I got myself a laptop and it's been a life changer. And to be honest, like when I come to the shop, especially now na, we have a lot of employees and there are more employees than we've usually had in the past. There are a lot of things in the shop. So everybody has their own work desk and everybody has their own workspace. Yung walang workspace, ako. So I feel a little bit like a foreigner when I come from the shop because I don't have a computer that I can use. Whenever there's a live stream, I have to ask the guys in the shop, uy, before you leave, make sure naka-set up yung test bench and things like that. Sup, Jojo from YouTube. Sup, Cup Noodles. Sup, Levi Sarmiento or Levi Sarmiento. I like the plural S there. Sup, John Paul. So I feel like a foreigner when I come to the shop kasi wala akong sariling workspace. And when I have to do a live stream, I have to tell the guys that make sure there's at least one desktop na available. And I forgot to do that this time. So actually, hindi ata napapansin. It's in the back. But our usual test bench is right behind me. I'll show it on the mobile camera later. But I forgot to do that. But then I figured, well, may laptop na ako ngayon. Why don't I try piping the live stream through the laptop? So for the first time ever, we are using the same equipment. So yung... What brand this is? Godox, yes. The Godox wireless and then the Sony ZV-E10 and then my cell phone as a mobile camera. So all of those hardware is the same for the live streams, except everything is being routed now through my laptop. So far, nobody has complained naman na, sup, Reno from YouTube, wala pa naman nagreklamo na pangit naman yung quality. or it's the same pangit quality. It's the same substandard quality that we've usually had. It hasn't gone down lower. So I guess the laptop is doing its job. One nice thing about it is I don't need to save my credentials on the test bench, which is kind of open to the public, or basically anybody come in here and monkey around with the test bench and then figure out how to live stream to both our Facebook and YouTube. So at least this my personal laptop medyo slightly mas protected siya, and I mean just very slightly mas protected. Yeah, but so far so good. Actually, I wanted to use a wired connection, so there's a like a LAN cable, because these are always more reliable. But as it turns out, and I didn't even take note, my laptop does not have a LAN port. So I'm using Wi-Fi now, and so far it's been smooth. Apparently, well, I'll check the playback later, but so far so good. So props to the VivoBook, and I keep finding uses for this laptop na hindi ko pinag-isipan dati. My primary objective for this laptop was I need something to Word, Excel, do online sheets, check email, reply to inquiries, and things like that. So basically like a very basic desktop na mas maliit na portable na kaya ko dalhin kung saan. But it has expanded from that use case since I did get an OLED screen. I use it now to watch movies and TV shows like from wherever in the house. And I edit the podcast on it. We have a weekly podcast, Tech Show But Friendly, available on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts. Yesterday's episode, so this week's episode, nothing earth-shattering, but if you do want to check it out, the links are in the text description below. So I have recorded the podcast using this laptop, and I've edited the audio using this laptop. I've done basic video edits with this laptop, but as I mentioned in another video, it really wasn't meant for that, and the experience is really janky. It's kind of torture if you go for a long time. But I'm not knocking di ako nagreklamo about the laptop kasi hindi naman siya, it wasn't built to do that. And it's unfair of me to demand that kind of performance from the laptop since yun nga, I mean, for its price and for its specs, it's already decent for basic video editing, but really kind of janky. I would only do the very most basic video edits on it. But audio, it's fine. And now, as a platform for a live stream, it's doing pretty well, apparently. Romula from YouTube. Pwede ko ba ma-open PC ko using R5 5600X without GPU? You cannot. I mean, it will run, but baka it won't run. I've never actually tried it. But the problem is the 5600X doesn't have any onboard graphics, so hindi siya APU. So sorry, it took me like 5 seconds to think about it. We've never actually tried to run it. For sure there won't be a display, but will it boot up? It probably would boot up, like you could probably get into BIOS, but even then I don't know if there would be a display. Yeah, probably not. You wouldn't get any display. So in the sense that you could turn it on, yes, it'll turn on, but basically you have no way of interacting with the computer kasi nga walang display out. The CPU in question, the Ryzen 5 5600X, doesn't have onboard graphics. So you do need some kind of GPU to display out so you can interact with it. Kasi useless. Sorry, it took me a little while. I'm trying to figure out, will it boot up? Like, in the very technical sense, will it boot up? I think it will, but then, you won't be able to interact with it in any way, even to get to BIOS kasi wala siyang display out. So, essentially useless. You would need a GPU. Jojo, okay lang po ba isagad yung lahat ng settings sa manual mode ng Armoury Crate sa laptop ko? I haven't used Armoury Crate to try to optimize my laptop. Optimize in the sense to try to get the most performance out of it. I would not use manual settings. I don't know how much control Armoury Crate gives you. Actually, like if I remember, Well, I did get to play around with a gaming laptop from Asus, pero medyo matagal na yon. I didn't play around with the settings using Armory Crate, but I wouldn't put it to manual. I would put it to auto, unless you know what you're. In general, if you're not sure what slider you're pressing to maximum, like on a manual setting, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't recommend it. I don't know exactly what Armory Crate allows you to monkey around with, but if those are clock settings for the CPU, that's voltage for the CPU or the GPU, I would not recommend that on manual settings. So the automated stuff now is pretty good, especially for the later CPUs like a Ryzen 7000. Although for your laptop, tough that it's I don't know what CPU that uses, to be honest. Tough Dash F15. The auto is probably fine. Manual, I would not until you or someone else can advise you properly na like we don't really want to put those settings to that to those numbers and things like that. So live from the shop, what can I say about the shop? We've done a bunch of builds. Actually, you know what I really want to talk about, and it's like super behind the scenes, and 95% of customers won't care about it. But the thing that's really on my mind about the shop now is that so marami kaming orders from last week. That's good for that's good. B, that's bad because we have to restock. And the problem with a lot of the orders last week is via credit card sila. And we have a very tight budget dito sa shop. Basically, walang extra cash. Ano yung money in is the money that we will use to buy products for restock. Ito yung problema, yung credit cards, sobrang ang tagal nung settlement time. If it's the POS in store, because we do have a POS, usually it's like the next day or 2 days later. The problem is sometimes it can run for a week, which is what it's been running now for a particular purchase na malaki yung amount. And then may online purchases din kami na via credit card. Yun talaga sobrang tagal. It's like +7, +10. So like from the day of purchase, +7 days or +10 days. And that's been a real pain in the butt because I have to restock because we do have other customers waiting for items. And hindi naman pwede na wala ng CPU yung shop, wala ng GPU yung shop. But so like abono ako ng abono, like ninanakaw ko na yung college fund ng mga anak ko. That's a slight exaggeration, but not very. So I've been having to source money from different places and then having to keep track of it because you do have to pay it back. It's been a real pain in the butt. So it's good to have customers, but naiinis ako sa mga credit, like, and yung mga credit card pa na yan, it's not like they're doing business out of the goodness of their hearts. We pay them. Malaki yung cut nila. And in spite of that big cut, they don't even pay you the money right away. Yun nga. It's like it's been a week already. We still haven't gotten paid. We're talking about like 6-figure amounts na yun nga, gipit yung budget. So I've had to find money elsewhere. So yan yung sakit sa ulo ko for this particular week. It's like, oh yeah, great. We've had customers, they bought builds, that's awesome. But they use credit card, and yun nga, nakakainis yung mga credit card na yan. And I don't understand, like, they don't even tell you, it's super hard to do accounting with the credit card, with the records that the payment processors give you. You'd think it would be super easy, like, okay, here is the settlement number, and like, when did this come in? Wala silang search function na ganun. So all of this is invisible to the customer. You come in, you swipe your card, you get your item, you get your build, or na-order na yung build, and we're gonna do it for you. No problem. But I think the payment processors are deliberately opaque. It's super difficult. Yun nga, basically every transaction, there are transactions. Every transaction has an individual transaction record. And then when you settle the transactions, it gets lumped together in another record, yung settlement record. Generally, you settle just once every day. You can settle naman anytime, but basically, iniipon mo yung lahat ng purchases, lahat ng transactions mo for the day, then you settle it. But there's no easy way to just track a particular settlement and kailan ba pumasok yung pera na yun. And you think that would be super simple. Everything gets tied, all of those transactions get tied to one settlement number, and then you try to, and then it should be super easy to set to search that particular number, and for your payment processor to tell you, kasi utang na nila yun sa'yo, eh. They owe you that money. They should be able to tell you, or me, the shop, kailan ba nila binayaran yun. But they don't have any function like that. So you have to track it manually. It's a real pain in the ass. It's also a real pain in the ass trying to find money to buy items to restock the shop. So kind of annoyed again with our payment processors, which is why, like, I would really like to use, and so yung plus 7 days, pwede naman plus 1, so next day. Pero may additional bayad pa yun. It's like, yun nga, talagang, it's like they're having their cake and eating it too. I mean, may cut na nga sila from the main transaction, from the transaction itself. And then if you want to get paid like the next day, which I don't know why they can't, kasi lahat naman electronic, you have to pay extra pa. So it's like, that's why I miss Stripe. I don't miss Stripe. We don't have Stripe here. Stripe is a payment processor abroad. Very sikat siya for small businesses and stuff in the States. Or Square even, like the POS na, you can just plug it into your phone and swipe it. So we're very behind in terms of payment options here. And again, this is all invisible to the consumer, but it just adds to the cost of doing business. Because I've been able to restock what I want to restock, but what about other shops that don't have access to the same level of available capital, as it were? And so may accounts receivable kami, if you want to use accounting language, may accounts receivable kami from the payment processors, and it can take a week or more for us to get that amount. And in turn, we accumulate debts because we have to get money from somewhere to restock the shop while we're waiting for that. So that has actually been my annoyance for this week. Sup, Chadwick? I know, right? Oh, sup, Adrian? Yeah, I didn't, that's the thing with live from the shop. It's just, kahit ano, it's like really the concerns of the shop, whatever that may be. But we will go around a little bit to show you guys just like what we're working on here. Zub, malakas po ba sa kuryente Intel 13th Gen kaysa Ryzen 7000? I think generally the 13th gens are more efficient than the 7000 series. I mean, both can run hot in terms of performance. Like, you get a high-end CPU from that product level. Both of them will run hot. But I think generally the Ryzen 7000 runs hotter, just very roughly. Reno, my fan suddenly stopped working, but my CPU fan is still working and the PC still works. What seems to be the problem? We do diagnostics. Actually, we had 6 people come in for diagnostics. So yes, you can come to the shop and we can take a look. When you say fans, I assume you mean case fans, but the fans of your CPU cooler still work. It could just be a loose wire. Could be the header of the motherboard just gave up for some reason. The header where your case fans are attached. So you could just try to transfer the wires to another fan header on your Mobo if you do have an extra one, again, depending on your Mobo. It could be a simple thing. It could be a more exotic thing. Especially like if, depending on your case, the fans might be connected to a fan hub which came with the case, so built in to the case itself. Baka bumigay yung fan hub. We do have fan hubs which are relatively cheap, like, several hundred lang. If the case fan hub is the problem, then you can just buy a replacement and stick that in there, and Bob's your uncle. Nobody will be the wiser. So it could be a variety of things. Maybe it's daisy chained and one fan is bad. Sometimes, depending on the chain, all fans need to be working for the current to pass through. I think, to be honest, I haven't really encountered that problem, but we would ensure that each fan is working. Baka it's just one fan in the series, which is problematic. So yun, I mean, the range of reasons is wide. Yes, you can bring it in. Yes, we do have diagnostic services. Sup, Christian Espinosa? Ano itong Intel 7th or Intel 13th? Was that from the previous question? Parang hindi. We don't generally do swaps, but and actually malulugi ka dun eh kasi mas mahal yung 5600X compared to the 5600G. But just as a practical matter, we don't do swaps. I mean, it's just hard to keep track of everything. What we can do for you is, if you're a Hardware Sugar customer, you can list your secondhand items with us. So you would buy the 5600G from us, and then you would list the 5600X from us. And then if you're willing to accept the price of a 5600G for the 5600X, mabebenta yun kaagad. Kasi, yun nga, lugi ka dun eh. So, it's like a swap. We're just converting it to a monetary value, and then you're selling it through us, to our secondhand service. Kasi we don't take a cut when we sell secondhand items of our customers. So we don't do a swap, but we do have other options for you, kung ganon. Smashed omelette, we don't have, our queue is usually very immediate. So like, we're talking about a time frame of like a week, 2 weeks at the most. So currently we don't have anyone slated for October, November. Yeah, so our queue is very in the moment kind of thing. If you bring your PC in, it gets scheduled right away, and then it gets added to the queue, and then we try to eliminate, or we try to go through the queue as fast as possible. So it's the time frame we're talking about for the queue is usually like 3 or 4 days is the maximum horizon. 1 week on the outside, 2 weeks at the very most already. I mean, we do have customers now, we're waiting on them, like they're trying to decide what they want to do with their builds. LTT screwdriver. Thank you to the YouTube member who gave us 2 of these guys. Been very helpful in the shop. Yeah, so our usual frame of mine isn't like that far out. So let me just take you around the shop. Let me do this guy. But then, yeah, okay, here we go. All right, so you can still keep the mic. Yeah, okay, you can still hear the mic, but okay, we're gonna go around, make sure that you can still hear me, right, guys? Because the mic should be transmitting properly. All right, looks like it's transmitting naman. So our queue actually was pretty good for this week. We had a bunch of builds, but the guys, popped them out quickly. But now we have a whole bunch of today, like parang dagsakan nung diagnostics, cleaning and cable management. So this big boy is for diagnostics, and you can see here we're running a mem test. Mem test, so that's for the RAM, the memory. That usually takes a long time. So madalas na we run it overnight. Actually, we do a variety of tests that we run overnight, whether it's GPU stress testing or mem test, because a lot, some kind of, depending on the kind of test that you're doing, it can take a lot of time. Are these CF120 Plus fans by Deepcool? Maybe. I mean, these are the stock case fans for sure, but these guys, they have the cutouts in the fans that allow for better light bleed. I think they're Deepcool, but I'm not sure. I don't know who owns this PC, but you might be happy to know, if you're watching, that so far the RAM test, or your RAM, is passing. And so we have a whole bunch of stuff down here. I think some is for cleaning and cable management. Let me just, I want to dox the customer. This one I don't know actually. Nice custom sticker here. Oh, Oh, and also nice custom sticker on the GPU actually. It's like a custom backplate sticker. I am not familiar with the anime, to be honest. But this is a well thought out build. Actually, yung maganda dito. Oh, it's even a deep cube. A deep cube. It's a deep cool. It's a Mac cube. The larger one's a 310 maybe. Oh, and it has the magnetic. I do like me some deep cool cases just because they're so easy to open. There's a magnetic pull out function. Just peek inside. And there's there's a very nicely executed custom GPU backplate. This is actually a well done build. So everything is white. I don't like, to be honest, I don't, and it's a Strix Mobo. Except the RAM seems to be like silver. The AIO, I think, is also ROG, one of the older ones. I think. Okay, I don't want to break the TG side panel. Pretty good, pretty good. I don't know what this is in for. Doesn't say on the tag that we put on each build. This guy, this one looks like a war machine. I mean, may ODD pa, may optical disc drive, classic. Okay, got a bunch of other stuff here. Oh, this one's an oldie too. Noctua. Not Zigmatic case ba to? Para siyang airflow not so. Yeah, you can even see like I don't know if you can see it on camera, but the dust pattern from the fan intake. This one is a what's this? NDXT ba to? Is this the new H5? No, it's a Dark Flash. Not bad. So some of these are in for diagnostics, some of them are in for cable management. We do have an installation of the 620 digital, except this is an AK620. Oh, no. We've been actually, sige. This is we have 2 videos coming out this month. One is I found an 8-year-old Noctua thermal paste. So it was from one of my previous rig na i5 4690K pa. Sobrang luma na niya. And I found, so I used a Noctua cooler on that. And then I found the thermal paste that came with the cooler. So basically the point of that video is, do thermal pastes have an expiry date? Like, kahit sobrang luma na niya, is it still effective? And then so we tested it using the Cougar dual face in mesh mode. So this is the Cougar dual face. And then we used an AK620 with a single fan. So test setup pala to. Right. And then we have we were actually, like, Cooler Master sent this to us like ages ago, but we're only getting around to starting to play with it now. Where is our PSU bone? Okay, yeah. So I was talking about secondhand items. These are the secondhand items that we have. The list is online. You can also find the link in the video description below. So the way that works is that as long as you're a hardware sugar customer, padala mo sa amin yung secondhand computer parts mo. Doesn't need to be from us. Just tell us the price. And then we'll take care of handling inquiries, arranging for pickup, and things like that. And we don't get a cut. I mean, if you set your price to 2,000 and it gets sold, you get 2,000. Wala kaming cut at all. Even though, to be honest, it's a lot of work on the back end to keep track of everybody's secondhand. Sorry, and I did mention, so this is the rear of the dual face. We have another video about thermal paste coming up. And that's where we bought a bunch of super cheap Thermal Grizzly Cryonauts from Lazada, from really dodgy, mukhang hindi reputable stores. And then we tested them against an original Thermal Grizzly to see kamusta yung performance. So we have 2 thermal paste videos coming out. to be honest, like those thermal paste videos are relatively easy to do, but we haven't done one in a while. We had a thermal paste roundup, I think, like more than a year ago. Those are simple to do, but they're fun, and I think they're very useful. And the results actually will surprise you. Both the Noctua and those original versus possibly fake Cryonauts. This is the video we're coming out with tomorrow. So Asus initially sent this to us at the start of the year, the Ryu 3. I liked it so much, I started using it in my rig. But it's back in the shop now because recently Asus also sent us the Ryujin 3. And so we did a head-to-head of these two guys to see which AIO functions better, which one we would recommend you buy, and things like that. Spoiler alert, I actually was very happy with the Ryu 3. So I used that in my personal rig for a couple of months. And I would have kept using it, except we needed it for the head-to-head. That video, to be honest, the results are not that surprising. We do have a 4070 in stock. Actually, we should just go through the GPUs very quickly. So we still have some of the 1000 series GPUs. We stock 1650, 1660 Super, 4060, 4070, 3050, 3070. Usually we stock 3060, but this is cheaper pa than the 3060. And say what you will about the 4060, everybody agrees naman it's significantly faster than the 3060. So if you can get the 4060 for cheaper, mas mabilis siya sa 3060, no question. You should just go get the 4060, which is why we're stocking the 4060 now. Yes, there are a lot of people online complaining na mahal siya for what you get, 1080p, 8 gigabytes of RAM, etc., etc. Sorry, 8 gigabytes of VRAM. But at the end of the day, it's significantly faster than the 3060, and in Philippine prices, it's possible na mas mahal pa yung 3060. So no-brainer talaga yun. Why would you get something that is slower and more expensive? So that's why we stocked the 4060 instead of the 3060. We'll keep doing that as long as we can source relatively cheap 4060s. 4070. Yeah, this is already reserved for a build. We're just waiting for a part here. There's also reserved for a build. Also, we're just waiting for the AIO of that one. This one, parang tagal na nito. Don't quite remember what that is for. Oh, this one I think is a custom build because I don't remember. I think like the customer brought this into the shop, tas pina-install sa amin because I don't remember getting it as a custom order. So the shop is a bit messy again. If you were around this week, actually we kind of cleared it out already. So we got a lot of builds done and things like that. I'll talk about like one particular build in a little bit. Here's our usual test bench from where I usually stream. I mean, this is the PC I usually stream with. But a nice CPU block here from Deepcool LS series 720 or LT. Oh, this also a custom order. This also a custom order. This also a custom order. Actually, because the 4060 we have over there is from Palit. Oh, pass na daw to. You think the tech guys will be mad if I oh no, did they? No. So these are all our exhausted TPs. I think the tech guys will be mad if I just press enter and then I shut it down. Pasado naman. We do actually have a shop policy where everybody should turn off their PCs before they leave. And if I catch a PC, like I come in after hours, tapos minahuli akong PC na bukas pa, I will turn it off. Unless yun nga, it's doing something productive, like a memory test or something. Okay, let me just run the ad again. Man, I hope the microphone has been working this whole time. Pero parang tama naman. Sup, Pesto? Oop, I was using a mouse. All right, 35 minutes in. Let me just play the ad again. I will see you after the ad break.
Sawa ka na ba sa unactivated Windows mo? Well, lucky you! Pinakabago mula sa cdkeyoffer.com. Windows 10 and Windows 11 activation codes. Legit, safe, at pinakamura. Madali lang umorder. Hanapin ang Windows version na gusto mo. Piliin ang preferred payment method. Wala pang 5 minutes, nag-CDK ka na para sa Windows mo. Marami na kaming natulungan.
Dati, sad and depressed ako. But now, I found the love of my life.
Dati, aimless and walang purpose ang life ko. But now, I'm a world-class Zumba instructor.
So, web developer ako and content creator for a YouTube channel. And ngayon, ganun pa rin ako pero activated na yung Windows ko.
Kaya kung naghahanap ka ng legit, mura, at original software,
Check out cdkeyoffer.com.
Check out cdkeyoffer.com.
Check out cdkeyoffer.com. Last pala, before we head to chat, these are also custom orders. And one of the tech guys, or one of our former tech guys, he moved to a different company, but we're still in touch, is coming over and he's gonna build with these things, an ITX build. The video of which you will see, or if i-film niya tapos i-upload namin. So ITX build. Let me switch back to the larger cam. All right. So the most bonkers build. Sige, let me do the chat first. Sorry. Let's do chat first, and then I will talk about the most bonkers build. Sup dances with waifus. I think you're referring to the Deep Cool MacCube white build. Nicely done. We have not, but we would be interested. Sup Ochi. Sup Moniker. Sorry, I'm trying to position so I can see the chat, and then at least you can see the camera. Sup Hugo. Sup Erwin. Gaming budget, 40% GPU, 25% CPU, mobile. I'm not sure if this was a question and I missed the question and you're answering the question. But yes, generally, if it's for a gaming PC, you want to weight the total cost in favor of the GPU. Leah Magnaye, I think, did somebody answer you na? People did not stay after the ad. It depends on the model. Like a lot of people were complaining about the 4060 Ti. Like not much it wasn't compared to the previous Ti, 3060 Ti, it wasn't that great. But even the 4060, you can see, is it 25% better performance than the 3060 or something like that? I mean, something quite significant like that. 4090, of course, most expensive card, also the highest jump from the previous gen. For me, a lot of the old cards with super talaga yung performance boost nila, except maybe the 2060. There was one or two supers which didn't merit the name. But other than that, usually dati, when NVIDIA would slap super on the card, mas maganda talaga yung performance increase. Here it's like the next gen. Here, the general narrative of the reviews is that, yes, there's some kind of improvement, but overall, NVIDIA is banking on the fact na you might want to run DLSS 3, which is only available on the latest 4000 series. But like if you're getting a new computer, parang even just on an emotional level, it would be weird to go to a 3000 series. Like if you had the budget naman for a 4000 series, and then you could argue that's not good value for money. But in terms of absolute values, may performance increase pa rin eh. So for new builds, the decision is pretty clear if budget allows it. If it's just an upgrade of a GPU, then that's where it becomes dicey. Like I'm using a 3080 now. I don't feel any need to upgrade because anything like a 4080 or a 4090, that's just too expensive for me. I'm happy naman with the performance now. So it gets trickier if it's just an upgrade. But if it's a full build, it's hard to recommend going 3000 series unless yun nga, budget is a consideration. And even then, like nga yung 3060 versus 4060, it's only in the Philippines where the 3060 is more expensive, 12 gigabyte version, than the 4060, or at least, compared to US SRP. In that case, you should find shops like Hardware Sugar that sell the 4060 for cheaper and go with the 4060 kasi mas malinaw naman talaga na mas maganda yung performance at 1080p with the 4060. Some people might argue, but the 3060 has a 12 gigabyte version compared to the 4060, which only has 8 gigabytes. But for me, my philosophy there is a bird in hand is worth two in the bush. Or meaning, punta ka dun sa sigurado kaysa sa baka mas maganda. And that's what that saying means. Like, if you're hunting, better a bird that you've caught already versus you have already one in your hand versus you might be able to get two, pero hindi pa yun sigurado. You'll have to jump into the bush pa to try to get them. Right now, it's very clear that the 4060 with the current games is faster than the 3060. Will 4 gigabytes of VRAM make a difference in future games compared to the acknowledged speed increase already in the 4060? Personally, I don't think so. Personally, if ever, it might be just 1 or 2 games. But a lot of people are obsessed. A lot of people now are obsessed with VRAM and 12 gigabyte being the minimum kuno that you need for games now. But yun nga, in terms of games now and frames per second at 1080p, 4060 is faster than the 3060. So I really can't see any cogent reason to recommend the 3060 12 gigabyte na mas mahal over the 4060. It's just, I mean, yeah, the numbers are there, and there might be one hypothetical instance like, oh, there's a future game that is better at 12 gigabytes, even though the 4060 is faster now, but maybe, the bigger shaders, they need the more memory. But again, everything, that's all hypothetical. Right now, the games that we do know about, the games that lots of people have benchmarked, the 4060 is faster. So I don't see why you would get a 3060 na mas mahal. Sup, Patrick? Okay ba si Prism Plus over other known brands? So just disclaimer, they did send us, it's hard to tell, when we went through the shop, but we actually have 2 Prism Plus monitors in the shop now. They sent us one for review. That was sponsored in the sense that they had some input on, actually they didn't make any changes, but they wanted to review the video before we sent it out. So that one, we already consider the brand having editorial control. And we considered it sponsored because we got to keep the monitor after. So full disclaimer. And then second, we attended an event where Prism Plus was there, and we helped them out with that event. We didn't get paid for it, but we did kind of get a free monitor. We didn't ask for it, but they gave it to us. So it wasn't a quid pro quo, like it wasn't, hindi naman siya palitan. But just to say that we have had some dealings with the brand. We're on very cordial terms with the brand. That said, everything I said in that video, the review video of the Prism Plus X240 something or other, one of their curved gaming monitor, I said it was good value for money. It's true, it's good value for money. The quality of the screen for the price is very good. So everything I said there, I was honest about, and I still believe that to be the case. We are testing it long term because we do use them daily in the shop. So we got another one also of a different model. So we'll be able to see over time kung kamusta ba yung quality nila. Like, yun nga, mabilis ba sila masira and things like that. But just like in terms of value for money, I think they're very good. I still prefer the Asus monitors personally, even just IPS to IPS, kasi mas maganda yung, for me, mas maganda, the colors pop more usually on an Asus monitor. I still prefer like the tweaks they've done to how the monitors display the colors. But yun nga, mas mahal usually yung Asus monitors compared to a brand like Prism Plus. So value for money, bang for your buck, I recommend them. We don't actually even sell them in the shop. You can still buy, you can get them directly from Prism Plus of Lazada. But they are a Singapore brand. I did research about them before saying yes to the brand, and then before doing a review of their monitor. They don't enjoy, like, their reputation in Singapore. I don't know, hindi naman ako from Singapore. I don't really follow the local gaming scene there. But like, just from the comments that I saw on other YouTube videos from Singapore, and then Singaporeans also commenting, it's not a brand that is loved. I don't know if that's an unfair assessment and an unfair reputation for them to have. Also, because I'm very aware that for that particular spectrum, people demand a lot, but they forget that they're not paying a lot. I mean, it's that kind of segment of the market that sometimes feel a little that they want so many things, but they don't want to acknowledge that to get all of those things, mahal talaga siya. I mean, you probably would end up paying more. So I think from an objective point of view, they are good value for money. In fact, the guys in the shop have been asking me if we can get Prism Plus because all employees get a shop discount. So even the tech guys, our tech guys who are used to seeing a lot of specs or very knowledgeable, they also want Prism Plus, especially if they can get it at an employee discount. But we don't have a supplier for Prism Plus. We don't carry them. But even the shop guys are interested. So I think they're good value for money. Whether they last in the long term, where we will find out. I can't say now because we've only had them for like a month or so. But quality-wise, performance-wise, for the price, pretty good. Mav, I received the GPU as a birthday gift. Sana all. How much is your fee if I have my rig built at your shop? I'll just get the rest of the components from your shop. If the rest of the components are from us, the build is free. Basta our policy is if the majority of parts are from Hardware Sugar, we will build for free. If the minority, so you don't get any parts from us, or you only get a minority of parts, then the build fee is 2,000. But in your case, where the rest of the parts are from us, that's very clearly the majority of the parts, then it's free. Sup, Domus09. Not sure if, I think I know who you are, but I'm not sure. Yes. Imagine Starfield with a 4090, with a PG48UQ. Although the Bethesda chief got himself in trouble for saying that. So somebody asked him, so Bethesda recently came out with Starfield. Everybody's been either complaining or raving about it. And then recently he got asked online. So he was doing an interview online, I think with the Xbox chief actually. And then, or the guy in charge of Xbox. And then so they asked the Bethesda chief, how come you didn't optimize Starfield for the PC? And then he was like, we did optimize it. Maybe you just need to upgrade. And if you think Hardware Sugar is snooty, even I found that a kind of a snooty reply. But, hats off to, I'm sure that didn't hurt his sales. Just like, he was basically like, you think our game runs slow? Then you need to upgrade. Kaya ba ng 5600X maglaro ng CSGO, Dota 2 while may emulator or nag-run sa background like BlueStacks, LD Player, Google Play Beta? Yes. Pretty much. 4K 60 hertz TV for story based and 1080p for 165 hertz for shooters. Am I missing a lot not having 1440p? Yeah. Like personally, I would say no. I mean, you already have 4K for 60 hertz for story and then 1080p for shooters at 165 hertz. For me, that's fine. Like, yeah, I for story-based games, you have the graphic fidelity of 4K. I assume you bumped up the other settings as well, so you're really immersed in the story. For me, that is fine. And then, like, if you have to go run and gun, 165 hertz and 80p, and you want the lower settings for run and gun games, I think that's fine. But parang the questions seem to be pushing me to, like, you want to get a 2K. Like, I feel like you want to get a 2K. My old primary monitor before was the BenQ EX2780Q, which we still have in the shop. That being said, it's kind of an old model already, so it's kind of pricey. BenQ also is a little pricey, but the quality is very good. And yun nga, I can say from personal experience because I used that as my primary monitor for years. Still is my secondary monitor, one of my secondary monitors, but not anymore for primary. So that is 2K. That is, I forget if it's 144 hertz or 165 hertz, pero naglalaro siya dun. But that said, you can get newer monitors now na mas mura. We do have them. Actually, we have a very nice LG, although that's not cheap. But the quality of the display also is very good. And it does run fast. Yun nga, both of those, the LG and the Bank, are a bit pricey. We have them in the store. You can see it on the website. But I think we have an MSI recently na 2K na mas mura siya. Neko guy, I'm not sure if you're the one with a build that you were just waiting for one item. And actually, I showed it a little bit here kanina. But thank you for stopping by. What's up, Clyde? Yoji, speaking of Don Papa, so I was going through the desk of one of our staff here. So I had to fish out a cable, and they still have, I still have good memories, and apparently they still have good memories, Don Papa, because they're still keeping the bottles. Just as a bit of a bit of history, we emailed on our 60K video, and we hit 60K. We wanted to do something, a bit different. So I read out mean comments live, like in the sense that I was talking to the camera, and then I was drinking live. Like every time I read a mean comment, I would take a shot of Don Papa, and then we did a giveaway. So Don Papa, super easy to talk to. They were super nice. The rum was very good. And we did a lot of people got a giveaway from that. So they were super easy to talk to. The thing is, after that event, they got sold. So they were bought by a larger company na foreign. So I haven't had contact with them after that. So in contact ko was with the original team, who were super easy to talk to. And we haven't actually done like any giveaway for the 100K, for reaching 100K. So yeah, a Don Papa video along those lines would be welcome. Like I don't mind drinking Don Papa. The thing is, the mean comments have kind of died down. And I don't even, like, to be honest, I wasn't even super offended by a lot of the mean comments, because I just, you're on the internet. I take it for granted that people will talk about why I don't blink, why my English is bad, why my Tagalog is bad, why I wave my arms around like a crazy person, why my videos are incoherent. I mean, a lot of stuff. Sometimes the comments are critical, but they're productive in the sense that I agree that tama nga yung point and I should improve on that. But a lot of the comments just kind of miss the point completely. Like I have one video where basically I say it's not A, it's B. And then the comments are like, no, it's B. And I'm like, yeah, man, I agree with you. I'm saying it's B, but they just like didn't understand the video. Labo. So, I mean, there are a lot of comments that I either are like the whole not blinking thing. That's or like I'm reading a script, and like if you know the way I shoot my videos, sometimes there's a script, but even if there's a script, I don't read it word for word. And a lot of the videos, like 95% of them are there's an outline, but there's no script because I like being spontaneous. Yeah, so a lot of the comments have no basis at all, and I really don't let them get to me, and I find them funny reading them. It's just like this internet is wild, man. But one of the sad things about reaching 100 plus subscribers or something, there are less weirdos. I think there are still the same amount of weirdos, but just because we're kind of like a slightly big channel now, they feel a bit inhibited about posting. And if there are any weirdos in the 27 people watching, let me tell you, or if you're watching on the VOD after, let me tell you that please feel free to be as weird as you want and flame us, flame me, flame whoever. I really don't mind it, to be honest, and I'm amused. I get a kick out of reading the comments. So if we were to do like another Don Papa video like that, it would be kind of hard to come up with mean comments, because I do read all of the comments, even if I don't get to reply to all of them, and there haven't been as many as before. Like you have 5,000 subscribers, people feel they can criticize you for whatever the heck reason. 15,000 subs, 20,000 subs, 35,000 subs. Yun nga, I don't blink, my English is bad, my Tagalog is bad. Why do I move my arms or hands? I remember like one was saying like, I'm not directing a choir. Why do I need to wave my arms around? I remember one na nag-comment daw siya last year about, I think, my blinking. And then he tuned in again to a video a year later, tas wala pa rin daw improvement. And I'm like, why? Like the sense of entitlement, like you should have taken note of my one comment and you should have improved on it. And then a year later, wala pa ring improvement. I'm like, I have a good enough self-esteem that I really don't mind the comments from the internet. I find them very entertaining. I like reading them. But they have kind of petered out, I've noticed, as the channel has gotten bigger. And I think that's a pity. Because maybe there are some good comments, but they feel that they won't say anything na lang because for whatever reason. Although I mean, the one time that I do get annoyed is that I'm just trying when I reply to a comment, and then I am just trying to address the concern, and then the OP, the original poster, so he comments on something, and then I reply, and then he's like, "Ooh, stay humble. I didn't mean it like that." Parang he feels that I took offense and then that I'm attacking him, but hindi talaga. I'm just trying to explain in the shortest, simplest terms possible, like why we did a video like that. Maybe because maybe he commented on why did you do it like that. And when I reply on why we did it like that, suddenly it's like, oh, stay humble, stay ano. That's what I don't like also about, whatever, silver plaque or whatever. Ooh, silver plaque. People assume na biglang lumaki yung mga ulo namin or whatever. Nothing could be farther from the truth. Malaki na ulo ko even before that. Malaki na ulo ko even before YouTube. So, it's nice to have reached 100K, but people suddenly feel defensive or feel that I'm feeling defensive. And the way I reply is just how I normally would reply, even if we had just had 100 subs or whatever. So I think it is a pity that maybe some people feel constrained commenting anything now. And then I also feel it's a pity that some people might feel that just because we've reached X number of subs, then the way we reply has changed. It has not. Leah Magnaye has thoughts on Prism Plus. Yun nga, but again, I can't really comment. I guess I should ask, like, I don't really have gamer friends in Singapore, eh. But I guess I could ask Singapore. I mean, I do know a bunch of Singaporeans. Maybe we should ask them nga, ano tingin nila sa Prism Plus. Because he's the chief of Bethesda, and he's like, if our game runs slow on your computer, you need to upgrade. Ah. Wala pa rin, Leah Magnaye. Hello from China Roses, Makati. I don't know. I don't know if they'll be bringing it back kasi kahit yung 3000 series wala nang super eh. So I don't know if they're gonna be taking that back. We don't have on stock, but we can get it as a custom order, and we have gotten it before as a custom order to a very loyal customer. That particular customer, he's bought so much stuff from us. We don't have individual tallies of how much each customer has bought, but I bet that particular customer would be maybe number one. He has a problem. Like I've talked about this on stream before, and if you're watching this, I love it that you buy all your stuff, but what I can tell from the shop, a lot of stuff from Hardware Sugar. But I feel like I'm your drug dealer, and I feel like maybe I should cut you off already because it's just not healthy for you anymore. My eyes are actually quite terrible. I've been wearing contact lenses since grade 2. My eye grade is like 600, 700 or something like that. And it's been like that way since childhood. So I grew up with contact lenses, and not the soft, squishy kind of contact lenses, but the rigid gas permeable, the hard contact lenses, which is what I'm wearing now. But sup, ITX addict. But my eyesight is actually pretty bad, and I've been like that basically my whole life, like since early childhood. Like I could be the poster case for playing games and reading really destroys your eyes, but that is not true. There is new research about that. There's a fantastic Wired article about that. So if anybody wants to really know like why your eyesight goes bad, it's not because you're reading late at night. It's not because your face is so close to the screen when you're playing games. I can send you the Wired article. There is like scientific evidence. They have narrowed it down to what it is. So super important. Sup, John Leonard Gomez from Indonesia. Are you Filipino and you're living in Indonesia? Your name sounds Filipino, but at the same time, what are you doing in Indonesia? Or if you're Indonesian, hello. Unfortunately, I do not know any Bahasa Indonesian. But I feel a very strong kinship between our countries. Philippines and Indonesia, like you guys are one of the, like I'm just assuming you're Indonesian, but you could be Pinoy in Indonesia. But you know, Indonesia is one of the largest Muslim countries in the world. The Philippines is one of the largest Catholic, and yet we get along so well. I think we should be a poster child for ecumenical relations. And I really do believe that. I mean, I'm not being flippant about it. We should be an example to the rest of the world that you can be of different faiths and still get along. And we are very similar in terms of culture. I understand you guys are also kind of laid back. I actually had a friend who he's also a lawyer, but he joined the diplomatic corps, the Philippine diplomatic corps, and he got sent to Indonesia. He stayed there for quite a while. Had a good time. OFW. Here I am, like going on about like Indonesia the best. But stay safe over there. And yes, I from what I've heard about Indonesians, they're very similar to Pinoys. Thank you for. I didn't know that, Leah Magnaye. I will research that. Rico, no rush. When you have the budget, we will be here. ITX Addict for sure top 10. Maybe even top 5, maybe even top 3. Which link? The Wired article. I will post it. Like I just need to dig it up. I read it very recently. Super interesting stuff. I will post it in the text description sa VOD. Like give me a couple of hours to look it up, and then I will include it in the links below. Indonesians are 3 times as laid back. That is what I hear nga. That is what I hear. There's a whole bunch of stuff here now. It wasn't like this. This is just today. Our queue is looking pretty good. So we had a bunch of new builds this week. We got them out. The store is looking pretty neat. But just today, like 6 or 7 PCs came in, either for diagnostics or for cleaning. So yeah, we're full up again. I will post a queue update maybe tonight or for tomorrow morning. Usually I like to schedule them for tomorrow morning. Sige, last question from Masato, and then I do need to go, guys, because it's 7 o'clock. I am a single parent because my wife is out of town, so I need to get back to my 2 kids. Plus, I do need to shoot some stuff pa in the shop before I get back. Oh, then I have another errand to do after I shoot, before I run back to my kids. So, yes, I do need to go. But last question from Masato. Ba't ang mura ng mga M.2 Gen 4 ng Kingston and V2? You know, if we do have customers that request for the NV2, and my concern about the NV2 is that the parts are not para siyang chop suey. Kingston is not very strict about what parts go into the NV2, so you get it labeled as an NV2, the product whatever, NV2 siya, but you don't know actually kung ano yung laman nun. So some NV2s are better than others, but you don't know kung may ano yung napalitan sa loob. And that's why kind of iffy about that particular model. But to be fair, everyone I know who has an NV2, wala pa naman reklamo. So there you go. But me personally, I wouldn't risk it since there are models that maybe not as cheap, but just slightly more expensive. And then yun, the quality, at least for me, I feel assured about. So yun, I mean, that is my reservation about the NV2. Yep. All right, thanks so much for watching, guys. Actually, you know, I was gonna post this to members. Actually, so Leah Magnay, ITX Addict, you'll see the more in-depth post about this maybe tomorrow. But I'm just gonna I will be posting like our video schedule, just so that the members know what's coming up. And then another video that we're doing also for this month is that I take a look at some of the items that we reviewed, and then I give like an update about them. Are they still good? Actually, the whole angle of that video kind of changed to when I was writing the script. It was more like, in my mind, nagbago siya to, a lot of people think tech YouTubers are scammers. Like, whatever the brand pushes to us, oh, itong mouse na to, oh, sobrang ganda nito. So parang yung pangunahing scammers kami, yung mga hosts and yung mga channels that push products in front of people and just tell them buy, buy, buy. So to kind of counter that, I will be taking 5 items that we reviewed in the past, but that we actually still used even after that particular review video. Number one, to show that when we say that something is good, we do really use it tuloy-tuloy, even after the brand is not looking, even after the video has been published, and have our thoughts changed because we have been able to use them for a long time. And have our thoughts changed after the pressure of having to get the formal review video out. Kasi usually nakatutok yung brand dun sa formal review. Usually nakatutok yung brand dun sa formal review video. But they don't usually catch anymore what you say after that video. They're not watching as in-depth anymore. So if they're not watching, will what we say change? So that's the kind of the premise of that video. And one of the items that I do talk about, or I will talk about because I haven't filmed it yet, is the ROG PG48UQ, which I still love. But there is one thing which didn't crop up in my review, which if it had cropped up, I might have thought twice about buying it. So like, real talk, guys. I mean, it's a product that I really love. It's a product that I spent my own money on. It's a product that I use every day. But there was one thing. To be fair, kasi it didn't happen to me with the review unit. It only happened to me with the model, with the unit that I have now. But so yun nga. I mean, yeah, real talk. So the video is like, yeah, just like my honest thoughts again. Not that every time I'm on camera, whether it's a live or it's a video, it's always my honest thoughts. But yeah, there's one thing I haven't really, like, I talked about it in another live stream before, but I haven't made a video about it. Yeah, there is one thing about the PG48 UQ, and it just happened to me just yesterday. I was playing Fortnite for an extended period, and it just happened to me. Yeah, so I'll talk about it more in that video. Yep, so that's a video coming up. Sup, Rafael James? I think you pretty. I know your monitors. Your monitors are pretty good. But ano, ITX Addict, we can get the new Samsung ones. The new, we just got offered. The supplier called me yesterday, and we can get it cheaper than SRP. The new G9 Odyssey, the 49 inches na OLED, we can get that. There's another one also na parang 57 or 70 something. Di ata 70. There's another one also. Now it's even wider, like 59 ba or something. Pero it's a VA panel. I mean, yun lang yun eh. I cannot. I can't even go back to IPS anymore. OLED, it's OLED or nothing. But yeah, we can get the new Samsung G9. Not that I think you already have enough. And I know your monitors are pretty darn good. But maybe your nephew, if you want to be generous, Christmas is coming up. But yeah, we can get the new Samsung G9 Odyssey, the OLED one, for cheaper for SR and cheaper than the Philippine SRP. Yes, we can also get the even wider one, the new one that they just announced. I can't quite remember if 57 inches ba yun or 70 or something. Past a certain size, it's just like gargantuan and you just forget what the actual measurements are. But yun nga, I mean, my thing is that's a VA panel. Even their other Odysseys, VA panel siya. So actually, I have a pet peeve. I noticed like when those monitors came out, like the previous generation came out last year, I noticed that Samsung tapped certain influencers, na medyo geeky influencers, but not really like PC guys. And so like they were like geeking out over the Odyssey. To be fair, I've geeked out over the Odyssey, but nobody mentioned that they were VA. And I mean, that's a very important thing to say. Ano yung panel, ano yung panel type. I mean, because I can't. It's VA. Yeah, VA. Yeah. I mean, yes, if you want it just for shooters, and you want to be in your face, Dota, in that. I mean, we've had an Odyssey in the shop, 1 or 2 or 3. I don't forget how many Odysseys we've custom ordered. We have seen it in Dota. I mean, it is impressive. But yun nga, if you want a story level immersion type, like for a flight sim or a racing sim, or even just like Baldur's or Starfield, for example. I mean, you don't want the VA only reaches a certain quality, and it's a very low standard if you've tried other types of panels. Yeah. So, it's like they gave I might sound a bit bitter, but I feel like they just gave it to influencers na kunwari geeks and like nerds and tech guys, but they're not really. Not one of them mentioned VA panel. But for sure, they have way more followers than us. And if Samsung is for marketing, then definitely they did a good choice tapping those guys. But I felt it was criminal that nobody mentioned VA panel. Although, kung binigyan ka naman nung Odyssey, I mean, magreklamo ka pa, di ba? We would, because we are honest in the reviews. But anyway. Yeah, sorry, Lea Magnaya. We still don't have a TV supplier, but I will let you know. Actually, we do, but not LG. Eh. So it's like some weird brand na medyo mura. So it's not LG. Yes, that you know what I'm talking about, ITX Addict. Yeah, that new one is in white. Yun nga, for 57 inches ba yun or something. But yeah, we can get that one also. Yeah. But I am not suggesting that you get it because I think you need to slow down on your purchases. But if you want to get yourself an early Christmas gift or your nephew or whatever, I'm just letting you know that is a possibility. I know. Can you imagine like an ultra wide with Starfield and then like what kind of GPU? I've seen comments online saying that they have a 4090, but the FPS is like 50 or something. But yeah, yun nga, I'm probably gonna end up playing that game pa next year. Kasi this December, I'll buy the new Jedi Survivor. Hopefully, it'll be more than 30% off or something. And then, siguro the next Steam sale after that pa si Starfield. I'm gonna be sorry. So I really gotta go. But I'm just gonna be like not really. I'm just gonna be slightly naughty. I do have a torrent site that I frequent. Not saying that I download from there, although that's kind of like having marijuana and not inhaling, if you know what I mean. But anyway, I do have access to a torrent site, and I noticed na may pirated version in Starfield. And I was really just kind of tempted because I'm kind of disgusted with myself. Not so much because I was tempted by the piracy, but I was tempted because so that I could play the game, so I could stream it, and then so that I would imagine there would be a substantial audience for that kind of stream. And like I was thinking to myself, is this how far I've sunk that, you know, viewing metrics is kind of like there on the top of my mind. And again, you know, it's not, I don't like I don't encourage piracy. That said, yung mga yeah, okay, you know, I will be responsible and I will say that I don't encourage piracy. But to be honest, I do miss the days where it was super easy to pop into any PC store and get pirated Windows, pirated games. Actually, I didn't. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. When I was a kid, you know, yeah, maybe a stream for another time. But I do miss. I do. There are a lot of things about the old days that I miss. But yeah, so I was tempted by that pirated copy, not really so that whoa I can play it, not for the sake of enjoying the game, but because so that I could say, you know, I could go online and stream it because feeling ko maraming interested, but I'm too much of a cheapskate to get it at regular price. But I resisted. Yeah, that's an honest thing. I resisted. I didn't get it. I didn't get the cracked copy. But yeah, there we go. I feel that this is a legit strategy. Like one of my favorite authors, actually, I forget if it's he's a Scalzi. I forget if it's John Scalzi. John Scalzi is a very good sci-fi writer. You start with the Old Man series. Very, very good, excellent, very entertaining writer. I think it was him that's like, you know, if you pirated my book and you read it and you enjoyed it, thank you that you enjoyed my work. And here's a PayPal if you want to donate. So it's not even like shame on you for downloading my book. It's na pirated. It's like thank you for enjoying my work. But I can't remember if this is Scalzi or the guy who wrote Rust. So Rust is a now also sci-fi kind of like very Fallout type of setting. It's now a TV series on Apple. I think it's Apple. I don't think it's Amazon. I think it's on I think it's on Apple. Silo pa nga ata. I think they changed the title. But it's also very good. But it's based on a trilogy of books. It might have been that author who gave that comment na if you downloaded a pirated copy and you like my work, thank you. If you like it enough to send me something via PayPal or something, here's the link. But if not, and you just enjoyed it, thank you pa rin. And I think that's a very sensible approach by any content creator, whether you're an author, games, TV, series, movies, etc. I mean, you still have your regular distribution outlets, but I don't see the sense about clamping down on bootleg copies. I feel that that's where you generate a lot of your hardcore fans, and your hardcore fans will convert people that will eventually pay full price. Or even the hardcore fans themselves, yun nga, after they're done with it, and then they buy a copy. And there was another comment back in the, like, you know, piracy was the only way back in the day. And that was true for games. That was also true for TV series. Like, I am old. I remember when it was very difficult to get a US TV series here. Especially if you're genre type, yun nga, you like sci-fi and things like that. Kids these days don't appreciate just how much trouble it was to get that kind of stuff back in the day. But anyway, yun nga. I know, right? Tama si Smashed Omelette. Anyway, these are thoughts for another time. I really have to A, shoot some stuff, B, do another errand. I got to drop off some papers in our storage, and then I got to get home to my kids. So thank you so much. Whether you are watching this on a pirated stream, I do not know why it would be pirated. Like you got like non-optimized, like it's not like monetized on YouTube or whatever. I don't know. I'm very laissez-faire about our own content. Like you notice all of our content is Creative Commons license. You can just take it and use it. Just mention that it's from us. Like I really don't care. I'm super liberal with our copyright. Yeah, and I think really that's the way to go. But yun, have a great dinner, guys. We had a video drop yesterday on what I've been keeping from you about my 4 monitors, but not all of it. Yun nga, yung PG48UQ, may hidden ano pa yun that I'll get to in the next video. Podcast also dropped yesterday, and then tomorrow we have a video dropping about AIOs, yun nga, yung Ryu 3 versus yung Ryujin 3. But thank you and good night. To quote from another good series, Mrs. Maisel. So, sup Casey Bolios?